Let me begin with a simple thought. Before any great system starts working, before something begins to move, before a company launches, before a constitution guides the nation, there is always a first page. Section 1 of the CGST Act is that first page. A page that tells you what this is, where it applies, and when it begins. It may look small, it may look formal, but it carries the DNA of the entire GST system. Today, let me unpack the spirit of this section, not as a lawyer, not as a tax expert, but as a citizen trying to understand how a nation organizes itself. First, why does a law need a name? Section 1 starts by giving the law its official name, the Central Goods and Services Tax Act. Naming is identity. When we name something, we define its purpose. The name declares this is not just a tax law, it is a goods and services tax law built around economic activity, what we produce, what we sell, what we serve. The philosophy here is clarity, not confusion, not ambiguity, one system, one label, one reference point. In governance, clarity is kindness. When the name is clear, compliance becomes easier. Second, where does this law apply? Section 1 tells us where the law operates. It operates across India. This is more than geography. This is philosophy. For decades, India had a patchwork of indirect taxes, different states, different systems, different rules. GST and the spirit behind Section 1 says something powerful. Economic India should function as one marketplace, not fragments, not silos, one unified economic space. When trade becomes simpler, growth becomes faster. When rules become uniform, fairness becomes stronger. Third, when does a law begin? Section 1 tells us when the law comes into force, from a date the government announces. This shows administrative wisdom. Businesses, accountants, software systems, and officers need time to prepare. The spirit here is not shock but transition, not chaos but calibration. Reform should be firm but also practical. The hidden philosophy, order before action. Section 1 does not talk about tax rates, penalties, or procedures. Instead, it establishes order, name, scope, start. Any fair system begins with structure. Section 1 draws the boundary lines of the playing field and tells everyone where and when the system operates. Section 1 is also about predictability. Businesses don't fear tax, they fear uncertainty. Uncertainty slows decisions and investments. Section 1 supports predictability. It tells citizens and businesses they will know the law where it applies and when it starts. Predictability builds trust. Trust builds compliance. Compliance builds revenue. Revenue builds a nation. GST is a coordinated system between the center and the states. Section 1 reflects cooperative governance. Different instruments, same music. By allowing notified start dates, the law recognizes that complex systems must be phased in carefully, like sunrise, not a light switch. Why this matters to ordinary people? When foundations are well designed, disputes reduce, compliance costs fall, and systems become easier to follow. A good beginning reduces future friction. Every meaningful project should begin like Section 1. Define what it is, define where it applies, define when it starts. Clarity of identity, clarity of scope, clarity of timing. Section 1 is short and quiet, but foundational. Good governance is not always loud, sometimes it is precise. If the GST system were a building, Section 1 would be the foundation stone. It doesn't decorate the structure, but without it, nothing stands. Clarity before complexity, structure before enforcement, unity before taxation. That is not just good lawmaking, that is good leadership. Thank you.